Has this ever happened to you? You know, you find that old family photograph, but you don't know who it is. You know that they're part of the family or were important to the family, but you really have no idea who that individual is. Okay, don't panic because I am here to help you. I am going to give you 5 tips for how to start the process of figuring out who is in that old family photograph. Hi, I'm Lisa Lisson, and with the blog Are You My Cousin? I help genealogy researchers take the overwhelm out of genealogy research and find their ancestor. Before we get started talking about figuring out who's in that old family photograph, do me a quick favor, pretty please. Hit the subscribe button because I don't want you to miss a single video that I create here for you guys at the Are You My Cousin YouTube channel. Okay, let's get back to figuring out who is in that old family photograph. So I have 5 tips I want to share with you today. The first tip is to figure out the photograph's provenance, or where did the photograph come from? How did it come into your possession or into your family's possession? Did it come down through a family member on your mother's side of the family or on your father's side of the family? Just knowing that can eliminate half of the family tree that you don't need to worry about and who it is. Number 2, determine the date of the photograph or the date that it was taken. Now, I realize you probably won't find the very exact date unless, thankfully, it's labeled. Unfortunately, if it were labeled and with the date and probably the person's name, we wouldn't be talking and making this video. So figure out, based on the type of photograph it is, the date range that it could have been taken. So is it a cabinet card? Is it more of a paper, kind of a more modern type of photograph? Or is it or is it more of a thicker cardboard that could be a cabinet card? Or is it a small one? Again, kind of a thick cardboardy type that might be what they call a carte de visite. Right? Pardon I'm sure I completely messed up that pronunciation, but we'll just go with it there. I don't speak French, so we're just going to go with carte de visite. The best I got there, guys. Or is it a 10 type? Well, 10 types are only made for a certain period of time. Each of these styles kind of, as technology progressed through the photography world, were only made during certain years. So you can narrow down the date or the age of that photograph based on the type of record. And therefore, you can start to narrow down who that particular ancestor might have been or an approximate age. Number 3, if possible, research the photographer. So if it's an older photograph and it is obviously a studio portrait, research the photographer. Many times you will find a photographer's name, a mark, a symbol that could be stamped or embossed on those older photographs. So research that person. Might give you a location of where that photograph was taken. Again, if you know the location where the photograph was taken, you know where that person was at a point in time for an approximate span of years. Very important. That can help you, again, narrow down who in the family it could have been. Number 4, date the photograph by the fashions that are worn. So when people got their photograph, they wanted to be dressed up. They wanted to look fashionable. They wanted to look their best, right? That's no different today than it was back then when our ancestors were having photographs taken. So you can actually kind of date and give estimated dates for a photograph and then estimate the age of the person in the photograph based on their clothing. There are some fabulous books out there that you can use, websites that you can Google, fashions of the 1890s or fashions of the early 1900s to get a kind of a sense for how people dress for certain periods of time. So I would encourage you to look those up and compare, look closely at the clothing that person is wearing and be able to try and compare it with some of the known clothing from certain time periods and narrow your time period down a little bit more. Again, by narrowing that time period down of when the photograph was taken, then you know perhaps who you can estimate the age of the person in the photograph and therefore eliminate people who might have been too young to have appeared in that photograph or maybe who were too old by that point in time. It's a way of kind of eliminating who it could not be, so then you can figure out who it is. And number 5, you want to put all the clues together. You want to sit with it. You want to think about it. Sometimes I actually will leave a photograph just sitting out on my dining room table where it won't be disturbed so that I can come and go and look at it and ponder it and see what else I might be missing from it. But once I kind of have a general age of the person there, so I know kind of what side of the family it is because I know where it came from and how it ended up in my possession. I've been able to date the photograph. I've been able to kind of narrow down further, perhaps by using the fashions that somebody was wearing or perhaps the hairstyles that were being worn in the photograph at that time. So if I have an individual, I've narrowed the photo down, I can estimate maybe the person looks to be in their 20s, so then I can get an estimated birth date. Again, a generous estimate there. I'm going to go into my family tree, and that's exactly what I want you to do. Is you ponder these clues, go into your family tree, and figure out who it could possibly be. And you may come up and know right away who it is. You might find other photographs online similar, so that you go, oh yes, I was correct. Maybe this was Aunt Mary, and let me see if I can reach out to my cousins, my distant cousins, or this other researcher on this family line to see what they think, to see if they can confirm this. The reason I recommend you reach out to other people, so you've got a good idea, but if you need to confirm it, reach out. And here's my tip, an extra tip for you guys. No researcher is too far away, physically or on the family tree, not to have information on your ancestor. I had a photograph of my great-grandmother. I needed to know a little bit more about it. Discovered that this gentleman, another researcher, had a copy of it in his mother's photo album. He lived 3,000 miles away from me, and he was my third cousin, my first cousin 3 times, no, he was well removed, like 3 times removed, somewhere on the tree. But the point being is that side of the family left the area well over 60 years ago, and they had a photograph of my ancestor who never left Virginia, way out in Alaska. So reach out to those others as you're confirming who is in that photograph. Okay, there you go, guys. 5 steps to get started on figuring out who could be in that ancestor's photograph. Now, before you go, do me a really quick favor. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, because I really, truly don't want you to miss any of the videos that I create here for you on the Are You My Cousin YouTube channel. Go have a great day. Best of luck with those photographs, and happy ancestor hunting. Bye.